Tell us about the trip overseas.
You got shot at over Norfolk, Virginia.
Who shot at you?
The Americans. We flew right over the Navy base, which was on the map, a big restriction mark on the map. Absolutely do not fly over. And so we saw the 4 little puffs of black smoke out in front of the airplane. We didn't know what flak looked like then. They sent up 2 P-51s to escort us out of there. So we got to see what flak looked like before we ever got overseas. Sangermain was on Thanksgiving night, and then, of course, that time of year, you'll know what the weather was. We went to Goose Bay, Labrador, and then into Greenland, and that was an adventure there because, as probably you already know, that most time you fly from land towards the water to make your landings, pick up prevailing winds. And we had to go in a fjord. It was like flying in a coffee cup, making a circle, and then landing back towards the ocean. And how we kept from scraping the bottom of the airplane on the mountains there, we'll never know. And the runway there was on a upward slant. The pilot didn't know that, so we made a pretty good hard landing there. Then we went from Greenland to Iceland, and there was another adventure. The Germans blanked our radio. We had lost radio contact, and again, this would be about the last day of November. And you know what, we had about maybe 4.5 hours of daylight. So we got to Iceland in that area. The pilot asked for a heading from the navigator. The navigator gave him a heading, and the pilot said, "No, I don't think that's right. I think we've already passed Iceland. Now you hear us on the intercom." And so the pilot says, "Well, I think you're wrong. I think we've already passed it. I'm turning back." And the navigator says, "No, you have to go where I tell you." And the pilot says, "Not when I got the wheel. I go wherever I want." And so, you wait a minute now. Well, the pilot was right, as it turns out. Oh, in any case, when we landed in Reykjavik, Iceland, we didn't have, or lost part of our brakes, and they had to go down the runway sideways to stop it, make a turn. And so we got there, and we were there for 9 days for pick up, get the maintenance straightened out, and then snowstorms came in. So we were stuck there for 9 days. Then we went to Valley, Wales, and from there we got into an ice storm, and unfortunately we let too much ice build up on the props and the wings, and when they turned on the de-icers, when the ice was hitting the side of the airplane from the props, it sounded like your heavy flak hitting the airplane. We were worried about holes and punctured. We actually thought punctured the fuselage of the airplane. It was that heavy. So that was a scary little bit there. From there we went to Marrakech, Morocco. And there I think if I was ever scared in my life, that was one place I was scared. And I'll try to describe it as well as I can. The Arabs there were on the base, and what they were doing on the base I'll never know, but if there would be 4 or 5 of them standing around talking and you passed, they all quit talking and stared at you, and all you saw was their eyes, because they had sheets here and here, and their black eyes just staring at you. You know, that's enough to scare you. Well, on the base they had this, apparently a prison. You had the walls, you couldn't, no doors, no windows, not just walls, and broken glass on top of the walls. And this was in an olive orchard, and it was a moonlight night. And well, then I had to fly there, which I don't know how many hours, but then I had to watch the airplane from midnight to 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was across the field. So I went to the airplane, which was no problem. But when I came back, I had to surrender my carbine to my relief, and I had to pass this prison and through this olive orchard with all I saw was shadows, And I saw these sounded, and so help me, they started to move. And I got scared, and I started running, and I ran. I could run pretty good then. And when I went to the tent, the tent was, they had a way of extending the flaps on the side and extending them out, and they built a wooden frame around. They had a wooden door on the tent. Well, I went through the wooden door the wrong way and took the door off the hinges. And I jumped in bed, in the cot, not a bed, in the cot. And I was in the wrong tent. I jumped in cot with another soldier, you know. He thought he had been attacked, and he threw me out of the tent. But anyway, I have to tell you, that was the scariest I've ever been in my life. To go on from there, we went to Tunisia, and that was strong evidence there of what the war was like in North Africa, about the Italians and Germans being chased out of theirs. Every place we stayed was, you see where shell holes were hit. You know, we got to go into town there. That was, if you ever wanted to see poverty and the extreme, that was there, where people actually dying on the streets from starvation. And from there we went up to Italy, Genoa, Italy, and we were so happy with our brand new airplane. We got there, we lost our airplane. Went to the head of the class, and we got the airplane. Well, then we went by truck from there to our base, and from then on we were the new boys on the street. So we got the oldest airplanes. The new airplanes went in the front, and we flew like Tail and Charlie, I think, for about 10, 12 first mission we ever flew, which is kind of lonely all back there by yourself.
History with Smiley is partnered with the Barrington Crawford Museum and the Library of Congress for the Veterans History Project, where we're interviewing World War II veterans.